Test, test.
Hello.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's see
good.
if I could do that. Okay. You know, it's always tough, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, there you go. All right, good. We're going to have a long meeting today, but we had to run upstairs to get an additional recording disc because of the potential length. We want to make sure everybody's adequately recorded. So we'll start in just a few minutes. So please visit with your friends.
If you don't have any friends.
Oh,
I need some friends.
See the fruit, was that?
Oh, it's in the back room. These are up front, but yeah.
The person I've ever had a friend is Sean.
I'm suspecting that's not right.
Yes. Much of it is accurate, but the timing is all wrong.
Approval, and then we'll move right on. As far as work.
But so when I raise my hand.
So we'll do after hearing.
Yes.
There were different profiles. Actually, it's the profile based on your grade. History of their satisfaction. And so ladies and gentlemen, we're about ready to begin. All of our technology is now in place. Right? Is he?
Right.
Can everybody please have their seat? Good. Okay, where's good? All righty, thank you. Thank you very much. It is now the hour of 10 o'clock, and I'd like to call the Kane County Board meeting of June 8th, 2021 to order. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Allen,
Allen present.
Bates,
Bates present.
Berman,
Berman here.
Brown, Davis,
Here.
Ford,
Here.
Perez,
Here.
Gums.
Here.
Okay, Iqbal,
Iqbal present.
Kenyon,
Here.
Caius,
Caius present.
Gopi,
Here.
Leonard,
Leonard here.
Lewis,
Who's here?
Martin, Molina,
Molina present.
Sanchez,
Here.
Shepro,
Shepro present.
Silva,
Silva's here.
Strathman here.
Surgis,
Burgess here.
Tepe,
Tepe here.
Winnicke.
Present.
You have a quorum?
Very good. Welcome all. Mr. Franz, I believe it is your turn to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Place your hand on your heart or salute if you're a veteran. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if, I believe, can you let us know who's going to be doing the invocation today?
I'm sorry, madam, I did not provide for one. I wasn't aware I had
Would
to
you,
do
would you
that.
like to engage us in a,
Sure, certainly.
Thank
Please
you.
bow your heads. Dear Lord, I think today is a great example of a group of people coming together in a room to do the county's business. We have very different opinions here today, and please bless us and help us make good decisions as we move forward with today's meeting. Amen.
Amen.
thank you for that, well done. May I please have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from June 8th, 2021?
Caius move.
Strathman second. Are there any edits or changes? I have one. And that would be on page 8, Resolution 21-310. It mentions American Recovery Plan. It should be the American Rescue Plan. So if there's no other changes, clerk, could you please call the roll?
And that's accepting the change.
except with the accepted change.
All right. Okay. Ellen,
Allen, aye.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown. Yes. Davis,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Faraz,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon. Yes. Caius,
Caius, yes.
Opie. Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Sturgis, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
and Winnicke.
Yes.
It passes.
Motion passes. I'd like to change a little bit of the order today because I want to make sure that we allow plenty of time for our speakers. But we have a couple of other important items that I'd like to bring forward. First, to the sensitivity of our Chief Judge Hall so that he can get back to court and do the good work that he does there. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I would move to advance item 6A, presentation of the proposed replacement for District 13 up on the agenda to from where it presently stands.
Seconds.
Second, thank you very much. And I believe that there is one more that needs to be done, and that would be the
Proclamation,
proclamation.
both, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Do I?
Take a vote though, Madam Chair,
Second.
on the first.
You have to take, I'm sorry, absolutely. May we have a
Actually,
vote?
may I withdraw my motion, and instead I would ask unanimous consent that the two items in question be advanced on the agenda.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. Do we have consent?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, I'll turn the microphone over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to first ask if Todd Wallace will step up.
And we will need for you to go to the microphone so you can be recorded. And here comes a mic.
We need a
motion.
We need a presentation of motions first.
This is the one.
I'm off script. Here we go. May I have a motion to approve the presentation of, my goodness sakes.
You know, the front page.
It's on here.
Madam Chair,
Please.
the, as you know, as of May 3rd, 2021, our colleague Steve Weber from District 13 tendered his resignation to you, and you duly notified the chairs of the two principal parties within the county. You then appointed a special committee to take applications for that vacancy. Mayor Burns of Geneva was asked to chair that committee. The committee met on several occasions and presented a unanimous recommendation from among many highly qualified applicants and submitted to you the name of Todd Wallace of St. Charles for the District 13 vacancy. As the board knows, this appointment is by state statute given to the chair of the county board, with the only stricture being that the vacancy must be filled by a resident of the county and by a member of the same political party as the person whose resignation created the vacancy. I would just note personally that there's no obligation on the part of the chair to appoint a committee, but as you did in the case of the treasurer, you have appointed a committee. That committee contained a wide variety of citizens of Kane County as well as board members. And as noted, Mr. Wallace was the unanimous recommendation of that committee. And I would then ask that you accept that report and that you then make an appointment to the vacancy as provided by statute.
Thank you. And before I do so, I'd like to bring up Mr. Burns, Mayor Burns, who chaired that committee, to have a few words about the process.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have number 13 binder.
There, with respect to the committee's work, I want to acknowledge, obviously, the Kane County board members, Mr. Shepro, of course, who just spoke so eloquently, Mr. Davist, and Mr. Martin. When I arrived earlier this morning for this meeting, I noticed the crowd, and I thought, my God, we're debating the resurrection of the John Martin statue somewhere in Kane County. So I thought this is, and of course, our committee members at large, Gene Pierce, Megan Bartlett, and of course, former State Representative Steve Anderson. As Mr. Shepro indicated, the committee met twice on June 9th and June 16th. We reviewed all candidates, and we also participated in what I would describe as spirited, respectful, and thorough discussion regarding those candidates who sought this appointment. It was indeed unanimous that Mr. Wallace should serve. As a proud member of the city of Geneva and as a proud member of Kane County, I could not be more proud to recognize, to acknowledge, and to endorse the selection of Mr. Wallace to serve as the representative of District 13. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So may I now have a motion and a second to approve the appointment of Mr. Wallace as our next Kane County board member?
So moved.
Gums will move.
And name? Mike?
Mark Davist.
Thank you, Mr.
Moves.
Davos.
Shepro
Gums will
seconds.
second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Mr.
I'll
Shepro,
Defer to
second.
Mr. Martin for
Okay.
the second.
This is by consensus. So do I have consensus from all of you? I believe.
I would
it's-
suggest we take the roll for this.
Would you like to take a roll call? We can certainly do that. Clerk, please call the roll.
Allen,
Allen, I. Welcome.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown. Davist,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fraz.
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Hopi, Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
and Winnicke.
Yes.
Yes, that passes.
Congratulations. Almost done. Now, could you please make it official?
Well, if you could please raise your right hand and swear after me, repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Todd Wallace,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Illinois,
and the state of Illinois,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Kane County Board Member
of Kane County Board Member
and Forest Preserve Commissioner
and Forest Preserve Commissioner
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
He's signing that. Then thank you very much, Madam Chair, and to the County Board for allowing us to do the presentation to Jeff Mazza. So I'm going to ask if Jeff Mazza could step up. So if it's all right, do you mind if I'm just right here? So
Please.
Jeff, come on up. So first of all, there's a proclamation that's going to be signed today by Madam Chair, and the proclamation reads as follows. This is the 2021 proclamation declaring July 18th through July 24th, 2021 pretrial and probation officer week. I'm not going to read through the whole proclamation, but I'm going to highlight some. It says this proclamation declares July 18th through July 24th as pretrial and probation officer week in the county of Kane to honor the essential work of pretrial and probation officers as part of the justice system and to recognize their impact towards increasing community safety through the use of evidence-based practices. I want to highlight that whereas during the pandemic and thereafter, probation and pretrial officers are responsible for supervising approximately 3,500 pretrial clients and 2,000 adult and juvenile probation clients in the community, ensuring that these individuals are working toward behavioral change and are compliant with court-ordered conditions. Now, I just want to go off script a little bit and indicate that one of the things that the probation department did this year was they decided to recognize one of their employees as the probation officer of the year. And the way that that was done, there's over 100 employees. There was a poll that was done asking all the employees to nominate the person that they thought should represent them. The supervisors also had input, and the office came up with one name, and that name was Jeff Mazza. Jeff is, just in talking about Jeff and why Jeff is being recognized, the things that I've heard and the things that I know are that Jeff is always there. He's been with the office continuously for over 19 years, even longer, I think, after that. Shows up, cares about the people that he supervises, is able to mix compassion and empathy with accountability. Genuinely cares about not only the people that he is responsible for supervising, but his coworkers, and is always someone that they say is there not only for his co-employees, but when somebody new comes in or we have interns, they say you do a fantastic job of bringing them along. So on behalf of Madam Chair and the County Board, and on behalf of the Chief Judge's Office, Jeff, it's hereby resolved that Kane County Chair Corinne Perot proclaims July 18th through 24th as pretrial and probation officer of the week, and that Jeffrey Mazza be awarded the distinction of the 2021 Kane County Pretrial and Probation Officer of the Year. Congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you.
Thanks. No, we can get you a copy too.
I'm gonna go see my grandbaby Sunday. I'm so excited.
Mr. Wallace, thank you so much, and you are now seated, and please make sure you make good votes. Thoughtful votes. Now we come to the next part of our meeting, which will be our public comment. And I'm going to read the regulations on the public comment, but before I do so, I'd like to thank you all for coming today. I've been in office now for 6 months, and this is the first time that I've seen so many people here in the audience. And here we are celebrating our democracy. Thank you for your interest in Kane County, and we are looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Of course, there's going to be some timing restrictions because we do have limitations, and we do have work that we have to get done from the board today as well. So as a matter of protocol, we ask that the speakers refrain from any statements or remarks or conducts that might become disruptive to the conduct of the county board, of which may cause a disturbance. And you'll have, each one of you will have 3 minutes to speak. There's a total of 30 minutes allotted for public comment today. If you did not get through with it, you're welcome to come back to our next county board next month to continue this conversation. And we do, and I mean sincerely, we welcome you and all diverse opinions here. Yes. I'd like to get our opinion from our state's attorney, if that is allowed. So that would give that individual a total of 6 minutes for conversation.
Yes, it is.
It would require board approval to do that.
Okay. So do we have board approval? Do we have to take a vote on it, or is that by consensus?
What is the gentleman?
I would ask unanimous consent that that be allowed, but I'm assuming that's
Your
one person
microphone,
yielding-
please.
Sorry, Shepro, I'm assuming that's one person yielding time to another. I think it might be a different question if you have multiple people
Correct.
yielding to the same individual, and I think that would have to be revisited.
So I think we're all in agreement that one person is allowed to yield. That will allow diversity of conversation. Okay. Okay, very good. So you'll let us know who that is. And I know a number of you are here to speak about a specific topic. So I'd like to bring forward first another speaker who's going to be talking about something completely different. And then when she is completed with her 3 minutes, then we will have the rest of you be able to come up and talk. So I ask for your allowance on that. So at this point, and again, we're going to be timing you. Everyone's going to have 3 minutes. So we will have the red timer up there. And when we hit green, you go. Yellow, you're, I think, about a minute. And then you know how to work it?
We're going to try.
Okay, we're going to try. And then when it's red, we'll ask you to stop to finish your sentence and then to kindly sit down so that we have plenty of time for everybody else. So I'd like to bring up Lori Baker first.
I think. Yeah.
And make sure that you give us your name and address.
Of course. Good morning. I'm Lori Baker. I'm the president and CEO of the Association for Individual Development, and we have addresses all around Kane County. Our main office is at 309 New Indian Trail Court in Aurora. And I just wanted to come today and thank the board for creating the ARPA committee. And I was at that first meeting on Friday. I was glad to hear the discussion. I just wanted to continue to encourage the board and those members of that committee to make decisions for the benefit of Kane County individuals who are dealing with mental health, substance use, and other issues directly related or exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, and think about the use of those funds sooner rather than later, because people already have the challenges that they're dealing with, and waiting for services and supports makes that very difficult. So I respect your point in being able to take a large amount of time to deal with the huge amount of money that you have to appropriate to a variety of different sources, but also keep in mind that the citizens of Kane County have had anxiety, fear, depression, and so many more things to deal with over the last 15 to 16 months with the pandemic, and access to mental health care would greatly reduce the issues that they're facing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The individuals who have signed up will, we may have some additional speakers, but the individuals who signed up first will be first called. Again, I think we can all agree upon that. So, Bobby Peyton. Okay, and your name, sir?
I'm Bobby Pike. Oh, my name is Patrick J. Murtaugh.
Are you ready? Mr. Peyton, could you please give us your name and your address?
Sure. My name is Bobby Peyton. My address is 2147 Fargo Boulevard, and I live in Geneva.
And you'll have 6 minutes.
Okay. Can you give me 1 second? I'll pull this up to start going over it. Okay, so I guess I can start whenever you would like me to.
We're ready.
Okay. So basically, for those of you who may or may not know me, I've been involved in voter fraud across the country since November. And I did a tremendous amount of work with regards to Arizona, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and the other 2 battleground states. I've analyzed over 29.6 million records in those states. And I've come up with a way to identify fraudulent voters on a per person basis. And in Maricopa, I proved out through the work of Edward Solomon has confirmed my work that Maricopa was a stolen election. And I've identified and created phantom voter scores for all 742 precincts across, I think, 743 precincts in Maricopa, and identified which ones were physically being canvassed. So I have been working with the team there that's performing the audit and providing them with the information. Now, with that backdrop and seeing how much fraud was prevalent in Arizona, Pennsylvania was worse than Arizona, and Georgia was even worse than Pennsylvania. each one seems to be getting worse. And then little am I shocked to see, I've never looked at Illinois before. And I decided to look at Kane for this meeting and thought, you know, this is a community that this might not be happening, or it shouldn't be at least, given its history and so forth. And, you know, I'm going to read off what I found after about 25 hours of analysis on Kane County. Kane County has had its population grow by about 36 basis points, 0.36% annually, or just over 3.3% in the past 9 years. 532,403 versus 515. This is according to the 2019 estimate before the 2020 census comes out, looking at 2010 as a baseline. Meanwhile, registered voters grew by over 53,000 during that same time. The number of people who voted, however, jumped a whopping 81.9% to 234,751 from 129,050. Over 100,000 vote increase when the number of people went up by 17,000. Keep in mind, when I examined the voting rolls for Kane, about 47% of the people that were in the rolls and registered before 2012, that's it, only 47% were registered before 2012. And 132,910 of the 281,428 listed in the canvassing reports of 2012. Keep in mind, I pulled all this information from Kane County's website, so I can only talk to that information. If that information's flawed, this analysis would be changed as well. Almost 150,000 registered voters are not registered in the files before 2012. Some context, over the previous 22 years, 1990 to 2012, about 1.6 to 3.8% of the size of voter rolls would register any given election year. So for 100,000 registered voters in 2010, 1,600 to 3,800 new voters would register. Well, after 2012, those numbers skyrocketed. 9.95% increase in 2016, 10.18 in 2018, 16.96 in 2020. All told, 196,927 new registrants after 2012, or over 60% of the current number of registered voters. I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few records were modified to cover up past voter crimes. How can this be? When I look at the timeframes and found that 9,999 voters registered 30 days before this election in 2020, a clear violation of law. Another 8,781 registered on or after the election, including 3,000 on the day of the election. Over 530 of these new registrants had an identical first and last name with at least one other person out of the 18,780 names. Truly remarkable. Over 30,000 people in Kane have at least one other person with the exact same first and last name, or 1 in 10 people have someone out there in Kane that shares the same first and last name. This is outrageous. I went through some addresses and found that the sample of 19 homes with an average of about 10 people per home registered allocated them a square footage space of 200 square feet per person. 10 people on the average size home of 2,000, there was 10 people living in that house registered. That's a big problem, and I didn't have time to go through more. The manner of which the new registrants entered before and after the election also is insane. They moved in lockstep with party classification. Same ratio of Dems to reps before the election and after the election. Same relationship was found for street addresses. If I went through the street addresses, I could come up with the time frame and found that 93% correlation took place. So 2,000 of the street addresses, if you told me, Bobby, this one right here, this street had 10 people registered the 30 days before the election, there's a good chance I could tell you exactly how many registered after the election for the damn same street. 93% correlation. This makes no sense unless it was rigged. So these records are rigged that are taking place within this county. Kane County is absolutely broken with regards to voting. Based on the data, it's extremely likely every election in Kane is fraudulent. I'm wrapping up. I got 13 seconds. Jack and his team need to be immediately investigated with a full deep audit back over the time as his clerk, and through the gross violations go back in time. There's no doubt about it. And I'm going to raise money to run the audit myself if you guys don't.
Please, could we have order, please? Thank you. Linda Prestia, you're next.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you to the board for allowing election integrity discussion to occur, because it certainly
Need
is.
your name, address, please.
I'm Linda Prestia. I live at 6539 Pine Hollow Road in Carpentersville, Illinois. That's Dundee Township. Again, I thank you for having this discussion about election integrity. Election integrity, I believe, is the most important issue to a lot of people now after seeing what happened in November 2020. I am a precinct committee woman out in Dundee Township, and I participated in the April 2021 consolidated election races, canvassing and door knocking. A lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort goes into these elections. And I really got nervous and scared after what I saw happen in November 2020. So I decided to be a little bit more proactive and interactive with the county clerk's office. We requested frequent lists from the clerk's office on who was requesting ballots to vote in the consolidated election. On the Dundee Township list I received from the county, the clerk's election department, 2 people on my list requested ballots be sent to Naples, Florida and Chicago, Illinois, so that they could participate in the consolidated election. When I asked Raymond at the county clerk's office, Raymond, how do we know these 2 people are not voting in elections in Chicago and Florida? His answer to me was, we don't know. I have a big problem with that. I would like to go, the board and you, Madam Chairman, to go on the record and by raising your hand and saying, do you have a problem with this?
I have no opinion.
I am asking you and the board members here to go on the record. Do you think it's right that there are requests to send out ballots out of state and to a neighboring county without questioning whether those same people are voting elsewhere? As a committee woman in the township for the last few years in my precincts, 2 different people are listed as residents in the home across the street from my house. I have tried to get them this situation fixed. It has not. Can you, Madam Chairwoman, guarantee me today that there were not illegal votes that came from that one house? Would you be 100% positive that only 1 vote came from that home and not the 2 prior homeowners that live there that are stated on the voter data file?
That is the job of our clerk.
Madam Chairman, finally, I am respectfully asking you to go on the record and the board to go on the record today regarding the topic of forensic audit being conducted in King County for our 2020 elections. May I question for you, Madam Chairman and the board members, is that if the good people of King County here today provided enough inculpatory evidence and evidence of voter irregularities in our 2020 elections, by the show of hands, would you support a forensic audit subsidized by the taxpayers' COVID emergency funds to conduct a forensic audit, or from using other tax money?
And your time is up. Thank you.
Your time is up, bitch.
Nobody is going to raise their hand?
No, they don't have the courage to, lady.
Please, whoever is talking online, please make sure that they're muted. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Ralph Padron. Is Ralph here? Okay. The next speaker is Stephanie Maresco.
Madam Chair, my name is
Yes,
Sandro Lorario. I'd like to yield 1.5 minutes of my time to Stephanie.
1.5 minutes. Do I have approval for the board? No. Yes.
Objection.
And I'm sorry, your name again, sir?
Andro Lorario, Hampton Hills.
Thank you. Okay, give me just a minute for my notes.
4 minutes 30, please. Put the mic on, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get organized here.
And 1.3. We're ready.
Thank you. My name is Stephanie Maresco. I live at 39W612 Caribou Trail, Campton Hills, Illinois. I am the Election Integrity Chairman for Three-Headed Eagle Alliance. Over the last 6 months, we have spent countless hours analyzing data, conducting investigative reports, and collecting a variety of information. Ladies and gentlemen, the packet that you have in front of you is just a small summary of the anomalies we found. There is something today that I would like to bring forth that has never been made public before. And because your time is valuable and my time is limited, I will do the best I can to explain it so that when it goes to committee, you will have real food for thought. If you would be kind enough to, with the packet that's been presented to you, to turn to page 3 that has a chart. It looks like this. Sorry. Our committee made several FOIA requests to the Kane County Clerk's Office. One of those FOIA requests included the spreadsheets from the 2020 general election. Furthermore, our committee FOIA'd the tally tapes for all 291 precincts for Kane County from the 2020 general election, excuse me. We were denied the request to receive all 291 precincts tally tapes because we were told it would be too laborious and they didn't have the man hours to provide it. They did encourage us to reply back and to narrow our focus, which we did, and that was to one polling place, which was New Covenant Bible Church in St. Charles, Illinois on Randall Road. At that polling place, there were 6 precincts that voted. Campton 10 divided into 81 and 82, which makes it 2. St. Charles 8, St. Charles 12, St. Charles 18, and St. Charles 26. Those were the 6 that voted. As I mentioned, we FOIA'd the spreadsheet from the county. So in that spreadsheet, it says how people voted, whether they voted by mail, whether they voted on election day, or if they did early voting. On November 17th of 2020, the county clerk's office published their official results for the election. On the website, you can still find all the results. One of them is the canvassing report. The canvassing report breaks out by precinct how each precinct voted, whether it's mail-in ballots, early or grace period voted, or day of voting on election day. What you will see before you is this chart. On the canvassing report for Campton 10, it says that 160 people voted. Yet when we look at the tally tapes, it says that only 80 people voted. Why would that be? That is a difference of 80 votes for one precinct on election day. That's not even counting the difference that shows in our spreadsheet on the canvassing report for mail-in ballots or earlier grace period voting. It continues on. St. Charles 8 shows 108, but meanwhile on the tally tapes it only shows 50 votes. Where are the votes? And St. Charles 12, there's 119 listed on the canvass report on the website, yet on the tally tapes, it only shows that 62 people voted. I will skip St. Charles 18 for now, and I will go to St. Charles 26, which shows 127 people voted on the canvass report, yet the tally tapes say only 62 people were voted. Now, here's the clincher. St. Charles 18, although it's listed on the main tapes that printed out with the FOIA request, listed as voting there, not a single vote from St. Charles 18 has been recorded on those tally tapes. Not a single vote. So if the county clerk's office had this happen at just one polling place, do we know what happened at the rest? The answer is, truthfully, we don't. We don't. And so that brings me to my closing remarks, Madam Chairman and distinguished members of the board. Based on the seriousness of these charges, and forgive me, I don't want to call them charges, these facts, forgive me. We respectfully request a forensic audit of the 2020 general election, because if we cannot account for what happened with the machinery and all the other things that Mr. Payton and others have mentioned, how do we know? And Lord knows that we as citizens are very, very committed to the well-being of our county. So we've asked for an audit, and we thank you for your time. God bless you. Thank you.
Order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, order, please. Thank you. Andrea Lario? I'm sorry, I'm not saying your correct name.
My mother did that on purpose to make it difficult.
No.
Keeps you guys all honest. No.
And you'll have a minute and a half, is that
Andrew
correct?
Lorario, I am the chairman of the Campton Township Republicans. I live in Campton Hills, 4 North, 421 South Robert Frost Circle, the greatest community we have out here in Kane County. Voter integrity. I want everybody to think about that word, okay? That word is not right, left. It's not Democrat, Republican. It's not liberal. It's not conservative. It's voter integrity. It's our community. It's keeping us together and not dividing us. As a conservative, I'm sick and tired of being called racist, homophobic, okay? A person that just, you know, we don't care about the poor. Interestingly, my daughter, a nurse who worked on the COVID floor and saved many lives, didn't give a damn about what color or what race you were or what affiliation you are. I have 5 cousins, 2 nephews, and a niece who are either gay or lesbian. I don't care. I love them. Guess what? Years ago, the Italians used to be called brown. Now we're white. I don't care what color you are. We love you equally. And I'm getting sick and tired of my friends in this audience who are conservatives being called racist, okay? Being called homophobic because we want voter integrity. You know what that means? That means let's keep us all honest together. So guess what? The community can grow together. I have a young lady that lives across the street from me who put a big BLM sign in her window pointing at my house. Why? Because I put up an American flag. An American flag. You know what? She took it down now. You know why? Because her father came over and he had a conversation with me and realized who we are and asked his daughter to please take that sign down. Please bring this community together. Do the right thing. Look into this voting matter, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Martha Hanna?
I'll just make this short.
Martha, please up to the microphone.
My name is Martha Hanna. I live at 213 Evergreen Drive in Batavia, Illinois. Batavia is way better than Campton Hills. Woo! And have any of you people ever been an election judge?
Yes.
Really? Did you have problems
Yes.
at your precinct?
Yes.
And what happened?
Madam Chair, would you allow?
I'm sorry. No, Martha,
Did you call
Miss Hanna? Miss Hanna?
Madam Chair,
Miss,
would you
I'm
allow-
sorry, order, please. Mrs. Hanna, your comments are to be addressed to the board.
I don't believe there is any voter fraud. At the end of the election, the machine puts out the total votes. There are not any fraudulent votes. You guys are making stuff up to make our community fight with each other. And I don't know why you're here.
Mrs. Hanna, your
Okay, thank you.
remarks are to us, please.
Thank you. I'm done.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, I'm just going to go over the roster to make sure that we have everybody. Stephanie? Patrick is not here. Mr. Howard Katz?
Morning, Howard Katz, 1104 Laurelland Circle, Batavia. There have been 59 presidential elections since we founded this country. Only one has there been contention. Only one has there been lawsuits. Only one has there been a call of stolen election. Now, in the 86, I take that back, now there's been 88 lawsuits that have been filed on behalf of President Trump. Only one of those lawsuits was found to be valid. That was in Pennsylvania, where the observers were told that instead of standing 10 feet back, they could stand 6 feet back. Every other lawsuit has been dismissed, has been thrown out for lack of evidence, has been thrown out because of lack of standing, has been thrown out by both Democratic and Republican judges. All have been dismissed or dropped because they were not valid cases. Now, when President Trump was elected back in 2016, he touted the fact that he won by 76 electoral college votes. In fact, he was proud that he thought that was one of the biggest numbers ever in the history of our country. But when Mr. Biden wins the same 76 electoral college votes, that's dismissed. That's thrown out by a large group of people and people in this room as not being valid. Why is it okay for one president-elect and not for another president-elect? Mr. Biden also won by more than 7 million popular votes. Oh, if not a record, very close to a record as far as percentages go here in the US. We needed to make sure that we counted every vote, and we did. Now, President Trump did set the tone, and this is one of the reasons I think a good number of people in this room are here today. He said, and this is a bit of a paraphrase, I admit, but he says, if I win the election was fair. If I lose the election is rigged. Now, that right there sets the tone for his followers to automatically say it was rigged. It was not rigged. There is not one recount or not one lawsuit that these fine people here today can point to show legally, factually, that the election was stolen. Now, I checked with 2 lawyers and 1 election official here in Kane County. No law says that a judge must initial a ballot. And this was a point of contention that several people told me were going to be brought up here, and was a point of contention in the recount that we had here in Kane County several months ago, which I happened to take part of. In Kane County, my time is up. I'm sorry. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you much for your comments. Fran Shaw?
My name is Frances Shaw. I live at 1109 West Downer Place in Aurora, Illinois. First of all, I think I'd like to address the last speaker. And I want you all on the county board to take note of this. This was not the first presidential election that was contested. Let's go back. Bush v. Gore. And prior to that, John F. Kennedy was elected with votes that were obtained in Illinois. I can tell you for a fact, and you can look it up, that during that election and other elections in Illinois, more than 63 people in one election were indicted and convicted of voter fraud. This was because there was a whistleblower from one party who didn't get the job he wanted, and he turned on his fellow political allies, and he was, along with 63 others, convicted and indicted in election fraud. I understand that a lot of people here are somewhat shocked because as citizens, we get up, we go to vote, and we believe that the process is good and there's integrity. I get that, right? So when we find out, and there's such a hullabaloo now about this election, we're shocked, we're surprised. Don't be. In terms of Kane County, I have to say one thing. Anyone can criticize and complain, but it takes character and it takes self-control to truly understand. I believe that the people who came here today and are requesting you to authorize an audit of the election are doing so in order and with the firm belief that this will preserve integrity in our elections and confidence in our elections. There was one other thing I want to say. I saw some statistics that were actually from the Kane County Clerk's office. And it is not an easy thing to run an election, especially in the year we had before. I think that the county clerk in many ways has done an enormous job in trying to be sure that all citizens have access to voting and that their votes are counted. But trust me, this is not a small job. However, that being said, state law does provide for provision of voting, and there was none. And the other thing, if you will indulge me one moment, there were no spoiled ballots, apparently. I think this is
Thank
something
you.
we need to look into. I have some statistics I'll leave you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That does conclude today's speakers from the public. May I please have a motion and a second? Your name, sir? I'm- Could you say your name one more time, please? Hold on, I do not see it. Did that come later, after I collected the list? All right, we have time for one more speaker.
May I be recognized?
Yes, please.
My name is Steve Yohanai. I live in Oswego, and I've been involved in the electoral process since I was 15 years old. Hired to help with the collection of the boxes and the shifting of the boxes at the Aurora Election Commission. I've been involved in electoral politics outside of my time outside of the state. Now, I took an interest here recently with the new redistricting. And if you think you have a mess now, the state legislature really did a good job. They have split thousands of precincts for the new map. They didn't have anybody who was experienced in knowing you don't split up a precinct unnecessarily. So you're going to find major problems, I think, in the future. However, I heard about this meeting and I had to say something because in my analysis, and this is going back in years here in Kane County of a particular legislative district. And I got to tell you, if these guys are criminal, if the members of our county clerk's office are criminal, they are the best that I've ever seen. Because I will tell you, I worked for the FDIC Asset Administration back in the 1980s. I was responsible for reporting pennies to hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars back to the FDIC for the Continental Illinois National Bank bailout. I went back years to fix old records. I went forward years. And when I left, they had collected 1.75 billion of the money that they spent. I can smell bad numbers, okay? Maybe not one in one group, but certainly a pattern. And I find it real hard to believe that our county clerk's office in 2016 had Hillary Clinton beating Donald Trump 55%, and then Joe Biden beating Donald Trump by 55%. Not only that, let's talk about voter turnout. Well, if we have all sorts of fraudulent ballots being cast, how is, for one particular party, how is it that in Kane County, we had a 73.7% voter turnout? But yet, if you look in some of the most Republican precincts, Campton Township, Blackberry Township, some in St. Charles, Sugar Grove, they had over 80% of the vote. So if there's a cheat going on, I'd sure like to know what party it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now I do believe that concludes our public comment. So may I please have a motion and a second to place the comments on file?
Roz moves.
Mr. Berman?
Madam Chair, parliamentary inquiry. Would that include placing on file the report that was handed to us entitled Election Integrity?
That will include that, yes.
Thank you.
One moment, please. Clerk, please call the roll.
Madam Chair, are we under discussion still?
Yeah, we can, yes.
Because, I feel, Surges, I feel the passion on both sides of the issue here, and I know several people in the room. I've met with some of them as recently as yesterday. And the thing that I'm confused with is where is their appeal going? We seemingly have two offices, and they're appealing to the county board to ask for an audit of the clerk's office. I'm not sure that I understand the process. Would they be going to the clerk's office and asking that? Do we as a body have the ability to ask? I don't understand how that works. If there's anybody in the room that could help me understand that.
I think that's an excellent question, if I may, to our state's attorney.
I'm sorry I opened the door. A lot of people came in looking for a door.
I'm going to recognize their state's attorney right now, please.
I would actually recommend going to Mr. Shepro first. So this is an issue that obviously I have not had a chance to research, but would like time to be able to research, and then we can give an advisory opinion to the board. But because of Mr. Shepro's long history of working with the board, I would defer to him right now.
Thank you.
Mr. Shepro.
Our Constitution, federal Constitution and the state Constitution are not perfect, which is why the federal Constitution has been amended 27 times over the time. But they are the rules and the framework by which this country is governed. And pursuant to that authority, the federal government has enacted election laws and procedures. The U.S. Congress has adopted rules for elections. The state of Illinois has adopted the Illinois Election Code. Those are the governing procedures that are available with respect to the oversight and conduct of elections. Those statutes provide very specific, detailed, and time-limited deadlines for investigating, certifying, et cetera, elections. I have to make one quick historical note. The 1876 election, which nobody mentioned, was bitterly contested, probably stolen from the Democrat who received a majority of the popular vote, Samuel Tilden, and it was not finally adjudicated till after an electoral commission had been appointed by Congress, which divided 8-7 and awarded the votes of 5 southern states with Reconstruction governments to the Republican nominee, allowing him to win the election 185 electoral votes to 184. That election was finally determined on March the 3rd, the last day of the old Congress, in which a compromise was reached to avoid a disputed election, and Mr. Hayes was installed. That was a contested election, and you can read all about it in the history books. But back to the process. So there is a process in Illinois, and it's sadly, Illinois is one of the few states that has no real recount statute. Florida, for example, if it's very close, there are automatic recounts, machine recounts, hand recounts, paid for by the taxpayers, not paid for by the contestants. Illinois has no such statute. Illinois has what some people call a recount, which is actually discovery, where after the election is certified, a interested party can ask for 25% of the precincts to be recounted. you have to pay the munificent sum of $10 per precinct for that privilege. But what you find does not change the result. What you find becomes evidence, if you so choose, to file an election contest. But in Illinois, you cannot file an election contest saying the election's really close. I'd like a recount to find out who really won. In Illinois, under well-settled case law, you must allege in your complaint that you are the winner. And you must do so under oath, and you must have specific evidence of that. Just to focus on one recent election that was contested, in the 14th Congressional District in the 2020 election, the result was very close. A discovery was instituted, and much of the information that was found is in the report that's been handed to us. However, no election contest was filed under Illinois law. Instead, Mr. Oberweis chose to file a complaint with the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Privileges and Elections, which is, by law, they are the final judge of the election of their members, as is the U.S. Senate. The House elected to dismiss that complaint. I guess where I'm getting with it all that is that amidst all of the lawsuits that have been filed, the requests for recount, the complaints about errors or omissions or mistakes or fraud, there was a process. And as far as I know, in Illinois, the people who object did not avail themselves of that process. That doesn't mean that the county clerk can't be asked why certain things happen, but it does mean that it is too late to challenge, just as it was too late on January 6th to assault the U.S. Capitol and attempt to impose, I'm sorry, people died.
Order, please. Order, please.
In any case, there was a process. The Constitution was followed to the letter. The vote was taken. Some of us don't like the outcome of that election. Some of us wish it might have gone another way, but it didn't. And the process itself has gone forward. So that's my take on the Illinois law. There is no basis legally at this point to file an election contest, to contest the result of the election. And I will then add, as the chairman, I don't think anybody in this room doesn't know that I'm the chairman of the Republican Party for the time being.
Order, please.
And I will say that those people who have spoken here today do not reflect the official position of the Kane County Republican Party. We have many questions that we believe should be addressed by the county clerk's office, but we do not believe, and I do not believe, that it calls into question the results of the election in Kane County or the state of Illinois. So that's my take on the law, as well as a few editorial comments, and I would
Madam
defer
Chair.
to the state's
Thank you,
attorney.
Mr. Shepro.
If I could continue that Ken, I love you, appreciate the
Yes.
time, didn't answer my question.
What
at
was your
all.
question?
And my question is,
Next
if
steps.
these folks have some concerns, what body should they be turning to?
They could go
I
to
don't want to get
they
75
could go to the
emails
Public
tonight.
Service Committee. They could go to Mr. Cunningham's office.
So what's more appropriate, Cunningham's office or the county board? And where does that
The
jurisdiction
county
lie so
board
that
has
we're
oversight of the,
directing them properly?
the county board has oversight responsibilities under the Kane County Code for the elected officials, for budgetary purposes, and frankly, for any other purpose that the county board thinks is appropriate, but recognizing that the county clerk is an office which is vested with, by state statute, with internal control over the operations of their office. So we may question, we may inquire, we may not dictate, we may set the finances. As to where they would go from here, this body could request the county clerk to do an investigation, to respond. I think that the county clerk is, to my knowledge, has answered some questions that I have personally had, have not answered some questions that I have personally had. I think it is up to the people who want to initiate it. If they go to the county clerk and they do not feel that they have gotten a response, then I believe, this is my opinion, that they would have the right to ask the Board Oversight Committee to take up the matter. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Appropriate. The Public Service Committee.
Apologize for the length of the answer, Mr. Sir.
For everybody in the audience, the Public Service Committee will be meeting and they will determine if this is a topic that they would like to bring up at their committee. So we'll move forward, and I think you realize that you can't go to Mr. Cunningham's office, Jack Cunningham's office, for your next steps as well. Mr. Copey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let's just keep focused on what these people are asking. They're not asking to overthrow an election. They're asking simply to purge the rolls and to identify whether there is integrity or not. And I have to agree with them. Thank you. And as far as how do we vet this question, I firmly believe that the Public Service Committee is designed and assigned for that task. The election process is mandated by the federal government and through the state government that the counties conduct these elections. And if we have perhaps obvious and glaring issues and concerns, it should go through the Public Service Committee. Now, I've attempted to open up that discussion as being vice chair of the Public Service Committee, and I have to no avail, and I've actually been insulted as being ignorant and received a certain amount of ridicule for having supported a stolen election narrative, of which I did not support. But with the evidence that seems to be mounting, I am more convinced than ever that we need to bring this discussion to the Public Service Committee, air it out. Air it out and allow these people their voice. Thank you.
Mr. Foss.
Thank you. I guess I got to express some frustration. I find it very frustrating when I did attend the Public Service Committee meeting. You know, the county clerk sent employees to answer some questions. For many years, the clerk attended this meeting and he's not here today. And so, you know, I find it frustrating that we're sitting here with a full house of people and our top elected elections official is not here. And, you know, we're trying to answer questions that some of us don't have the answers to. So I would request that at that next meeting that we make a request directly to the county clerk that he attend.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
To Mr. Fraz's point, since we were given a written,
please.
Oh, Shepro, since we were given a detailed presentation and placed it on file, I would move that report be forwarded to the Public Service Committee for consideration at its next meeting.
Second.
Consensus, would you like consensus or would you like?
Well, I'll try for consensus.
Is there a consensus for that?
Yes.
I see full consensus of that. I'm sorry, we can.
To you, ma'am, I have a full copy that has the evidence. There's 3 copies.
I have copies right there.
You just want to make sure you're aware of that.
I am. I have the right here. Thank you. I have it.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sanchez here. Just in respect of everyone's time, I think we have provided ample opportunity for the public to speak on this matter, and we've received some guidance on where to go next with this. And we do have other business to conduct, so I would just suggest that we perhaps move on to the next agenda item.
If there's no further discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'd
one
just
more.
like to say a word. I don't think the
Name, please.
people, I'm sorry, Wojnicki.
Thank you.
I don't believe listening to them, they're here to overturn the election. I think they recognize that that's not a possibility. However, they're coming here with their voices and presenting evidence and showing us that there's a possibility, that a very strong possibility, that this election was not, the votes were not the correct votes in Kane County. And so I want to thank them all for being here. And then I agree with Drew Fraz. I would like to have them appear before a public service. And I think that Jack Cunningham should have been here today to listen to all of this if he knew all these residents were coming in. And, you know, they're presenting evidence and it's not going to change anything, but it might prevent it from ever happening again if they are proven correct, which I think they may be. Thank you.
We'll take one more comment and then I think it's time to move on.
Thank you, all of our speakers today. Mavis Bates. As I look at this tally sheet, I want to say that I was a processing judge for 20 years maybe, and that the tally tape totals would, I believe, not show any mail-in ballots. So I believe it would be a good idea to contact our clerks, our Jack Cunningham's office. I think we can straighten this out and there will be a good answer to where the missing votes are. They don't show up on the tally sheets. That only shows up at 7:15 on election day.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So
Madam Chair, I believe Mr. Sanchez called for the orders of the day, and I
Correct.
believe we should proceed.
Let's proceed, please. And I just want to make a summary so we're all on the same page. I'd like to, first of all, thank you all for coming and sharing your concerns and your voice with the Kane County Board. Our next step is when the public service meeting takes place. We will address this issue. We will make sure that the document that was shared, election integrity, Kane County 2020 general election, will be shared with Mr.
Madam
Cunningham, and we will also ask Mr. Cunningham to appear at the Public Service Committee.
I want to thank you and the board on behalf of all our friends here for your time, and I will be running against Ken Shepard for King County.
Thank you. That is that.
Thank you. Thank you.
May I please have, Clerk, we have a motion to put these public comments on a record. Could you please call the roll?
Yes. This is to place the reports and public comment on file. Allen?
Allen, aye.
Bates?
Bates, aye.
Berman?
Berman, yes.
Brown? Davis?
Davis, yes.
Ford? Yes. Fraz?
Yes.
Gums?
Yes.
Iqbal?
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon?
Yes.
Caius?
Caius, yes.
Copey?
Yes.
Leonard? Lewis?
Lewis, yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Molina?
Molina, yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Shepro?
Shepro, yes.
Silva? Silva? Strathman?
Yes.
Yes.
Surgis?
Burgess, yes.
Tepe?
Tepe, abstain.
Abstain, okay. Wallace?
Yes.
And Winnicke?
Yes.
That passes.
Silva, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And we're going on. Everybody can have a drink of water.
Sure, sorry to interrupt, but I did notice, sadly, in the newspapers over the last week.
Microphone, please.
Microphone, please.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Leonard, your name, please.
I'm Bill Leonard. I just wanted to notify the board. I was sadly notified through the paper that two of our former Kane County board members had passed away in the last week or so, Rudy Newberger and Trudy Brown. And I was wondering if we could recognize them for their years of service, if not at this meeting, maybe at the next meeting.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think a moment of silence now, and then if you could send the information and we'll give more formal proclamation of their service. That'd be
Thank you
great.
very much.
Thank you. A moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you, thank you. We truly do hard work here, and we do work for the public's good. Oh, okay, that's always so sad. All right, everybody take a breath. Ready? You got indoctrinated. Welcome, welcome. Mr. Martin, I'd like to have you ask the Development Committee Chair to rise and discuss and take us through the appropriate procedures to approve the zoning petition in today's agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have one petition before us today for our consideration, that being petition number 4576. The petitioner is Stefan Lamel, and the property is located at the end of Evergreen Drive, south of Main Street in Batavia. The rezoning sought is from F District Farming to R District 1 Family Residential to enable the construction of a house. There was no jurisdiction of the Regional Plan Commission. There were neighboring objectors, basically in the context of concerns about water and drainage relation issues. The zoning board approved the petition with stipulations. Those stipulations were also adopted by the Development Committee in its approval, with one additional requirement that there be a phase 1 environmental audit conducted upon the property to ascertain that there were no contaminants brought up on the site during past filling efforts. I move approval of this and request a second.
I would second. Kenyon, second.
Thank you, Mr. Kenyon. Is there
any comment or question? Would the clerk please call the roll?
Allen,
Allen.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown, Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Franz,
Yes.
Gums.
Gums.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you. Gums?
Sorry about that. Yes.
Okay. Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Kopi,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surgis,
Sturgis, yes.
Tepe,
Tuppy, yes.
Wallace,
Wallace, yes.
Winnicke.
Yes.
That passes.
Motion passes.
Motion carries. Madam Chair, that concludes the zoning petitions.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Was that your first vote? There you go.
He's keeping track.
No, he's an old timer right now.
He's got it.
The next, I'd like to call your attention to an appointment we have to make for the Lake Marion River Conservancy District. It's a reappointment. The lady's name is Kathy Bromad, and it expires on 7/2026. So it is a 5-year appointment. May I please have a consensus to approve this appointment?
Yes.
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 Consensus, yes.
Move to approve, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, thank you.
Who second?
Do we have a second, Ms. Bates?
Bates seconds, okay.
And I believe we have consensus.
Oh, you didn't want to do a roll on that at all? No.
I think consensus is
Okay.
all that's needed.
If you reflect that the request was for unanimous consent to approve the appointment, then
Okay.
I think the minutes would reflect that without a roll call.
Okay, unanimous
That was
consent.
Shepro, by the way.
Thank you, Mr. Shepro. Now, are there any committee updates?
Appointment of Todd Wallace.
No, we've already done that.
That's done. Okay.
There he is,
This
right
was
there.
to the committees, though,
Yes. I'm sorry, sir.
separate from his appointment as a board member. This is
Correct.
to appoint him to
Correct.
committees.
You're absolutely right. Thank you for that.
And I'd like to move to approve that before he changes his mind at that long list.
I want him on my committee.
Do I have a second?
I second. Leonard
seconds.
second.
Okay. Ms. Winnicky seconds. Very good. So you are now on the, but not limited to, the Energy, Environment, Jobs, Legislative, Public Health, Community Development, and Liquor Commission, and anything else we want to throw at you. I'm sorry?
County development.
County Development, yes, County Development. All right, and we need consensus. Do I have a motion to move this to consensus?
By consensus to reappoint him to those committees.
Very good. Second, please.
Berman.
Berman?
No, I think we have an issue.
Did that, but that's all right.
Madam Chair, please excuse me. I would recommend
Confused about
taking a
how that
vote,
works.
Take a
a
vote?
formal motion and a vote on an appointment to a committee.
Okay, very good. All right.
Madam Chairman, this is Alan.
Hold on just a second, Ms. Allen.
Sure.
Because I'm getting two different votes here, or two different motions and seconds. I first had Shepro and Wonicky as doing the motion to appoint Mr. Wallace to all these committees. So are we going to go on that?
Yes, we'll go on that one. We'll go on
Okay.
that one,
Was that
absolutely.
Mr. Davis that seconded that? Okay.
I was willing to, but I.
All right.
think
Yeah, I
if
have,
you somebody
I
else,
have you,
that's
Mr. Shepro, and then I have Wonicky
Yes.
as for the appointment, for his ad hoc.
First. You both almost said at the same time.
Exactly.
So may I please have a clerk, could you please call the roll to appoint Mr. Wallace to the previously named committees?
Okay. Ellen?
Alan, aye.
Bates?
Bates, aye.
Berman?
Berman, yes.
Brown? Davis?
Davis, yes.
Ford?
Yes.
Raz?
Yes.
Gums?
Gums, yes.
Iqbal?
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon?
Yes.
Caius? Kobe?
Yes.
Leonard?
Leonard, yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Martin?
Martin, yes.
Molina?
Molina, yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Shepro?
Shepro, yes.
Silva?
Silva, yes.
Strathman?
Strathman, yes.
Surges?
Sturgis, yes.
Tepe?
Tepe, yes.
Wallace? Oh, there you go. And then Wonicky.
Yes.
That passes.
Vote for yourself.
Another first.
The motion passes. Now, are there any committee updates?
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
Caius, Chairman of the Administration Committee, just to update people that the staff and contractors are working on the master facilities plan with our Mr. Allen. And we are in the process of forming a formal subcommittee. And so I invite everybody to join us in the next weeks, or the next administration committee, find out more as we develop that for the entire county.
And the subcommittee will be what is that going to be?
3 members.
Okay, very
Plus
good.
the staff.
To talk specifically about the facility study?
Master's plan, yeah.
Master plan, okay. Very good. Are there any committee updates? Any others? Yes.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to let the board know that Mavis Bates, Chairman of the Energy and Environmental Committee, and I'd like to let you know that we've received responses to our RFP for a solar field in the back of the Judicial Center. And I would be happy to take anybody for a stroll to go see that area, especially our newest member. And that we will be bringing that through admin, exec, and E&E soon. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
And finance.
Does that include a stop off in the grotto?
We're over on 38.
There you go. Reserve will, and
okay.
we'll give you a tour back there. I'll be happy to.
Yeah, are there any other committee updates? Okay, no. Hearing none. All right. On to our next agenda, which is going to be the consent agenda. Would anybody like to have any item removed from the consent agenda? Mr. Frost?
347 under transportation, second to the last item.
Give me a minute. I think my Notes are not complete here. Let me get to
347,
Give me just a second, please.
last page.
Thank you. Missing a page, perhaps. There we are. Habits. Got it. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 21318,
31.
under executive.
Okay.
Jared.
There it is. Okay. Okay. Anything else? None? I'd like to now ask for a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with the exception of items 21-318 and it's that pesky one. 21347.
Surges moves.
Berman
Gums will second.
Berman, Mr. Berman seconds.
Berman seconds.
Please call the roll.
Allen,
Allen, aye.
Bates, Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown, Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Raz,
Yes.
Gums.
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Opie,
Opie, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Pepe,
Jeppy, yes.
Wallace,
Wallace, yes.
and Winicky.
Yes.
Passes.
Very good. Now, may I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve item number 21-318, authorization of an administrative assistant for the American Rescue Plan Committee?
Moved by Berman.
Sanchez seconds.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Yes, Ms. Winicky.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I attended the ARP committee that we held, what was it, Friday? I'm lost on my days, but I think it was Friday. And I just want to clarify, and maybe I thought it was good for the other committee members to hear this, the ones who couldn't attend the meeting or didn't attend the meeting. But I remember all the people that were helping when we were trying to figure out what we were going to do with the CARES Act money and what a really big job that was. So maybe this is for you, Jarrett. So this is going to be an administrative assistant for the people who are actually determining the right requirement for where the money's going to go. So, according to the federal guidelines. Or is this just the administrative assistant is just the one person that's going to help us with the American Rescue Plan?
Sanchez here. Thank you for the question, Barb. This is simply for an administrative assistant for the committee to help us stay organized, stay on track. I look at my role as chairman partly as facilitator, not the guy with all the ideas. That's got to come from all of us.
Mhm.
And so this administrative assistant will help in that work in facilitating information collection, presentation, because I'm not a PowerPoint guy. Maybe I should learn from Sheriff Hain a couple tricks. Yeah, there's 2 days after a meeting, I would like to have notes so that everyone that wasn't there or who was there can take part in the conversation easily by knowing what happened. We don't have to wait for next month's minutes or the next meeting's minutes, things like that. It takes a little burden off of our staff as well that has to collect some of that information. And any other tasks that would be helpful for the work of the committee so that doesn't fall just upon my shoulders, on the committee's shoulders. It helps spread it out a little bit. And because we have administrative costs built into the ARP money, we're able to do that.
Okay.
The other positions you spoke of, RFPs are sent out for those. And that will be part of our further ongoing conversations about staff needs.
Okay, good. Thank you, Jared. Good work.
Is there any other discussion? Yes.
Jay, do you imagine repurposing somebody that's already on staff, or are you bringing somebody fresh in?
Someone from the outside,
Okay, thanks.
temp hire. Yeah.
Temp hire.
Yes.
I understand that.
Name, please.
Copy, thank you. I understand that the resolution recommends a staff person, but as Mr. Shepro had informed me that there are board members on the committee and they're not named here, and neither is a staff person. Is that a, would that be, could that be prioritized on this resolution? Or is that necessary?
Committee members have previously been voted on by the board, I believe.
Yes, they have. They've been voted on. The committee has already been in place.
Okay.
And I believe that the staff person has yet to be identified. This would merely authorize
The
someone
search,
to be hired.
the search and selection.
So this pertains to the staff person and an additional $25 per hour.
Correct. Pending the board's approval. Once it's approved, or if it is approved, then we can move forward with that potential hire.
I would,
Yes, Mr. Kobe.
if I could amend the resolution to raise the $25 an hour to $35 an hour. I'm seeking a second.
I'll second that. Berman, second.
Second?
Repeat that, please.
Can you?
Speak louder.
I am amending the resolution to raise the $25 per hour to $35 per hour. And I requested a second.
And there was a second by Mr. Berman. Is there any discussion on that?
I guess I would recommend an up to, because we don't know exactly who's going to walk in the door, and we may want to adjust it.
Oh.
Okay. So now we have, will you approve that?
I would just as soon stick with the original amendment.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
I would appreciate if we could stick with the original amendment and vote on it for what it's worth at $35 an hour.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor and a second for $35 an hour. So let's do that one first and see if
We have
that
discussion.
for $35 an hour. We're still on.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
Caius, can I amend the amendment to insert up to? We can vote on that first, then on the other.
Madam Chair, I think our state's attorney has Michelle. Yeah.
Shall, we're starting to get second amendments onto the second amendment.
Perhaps if the chair of the ARP committee could speak, it's my understanding this is more of a secretarial type of position, just to, collect papers, information, type things, prepare PowerPoints, that sort of thing. Our separate RFPs are going out for more of the project manager type of positions and or for consultants.
That is correct. Mr. Sanchez.
I'm never against paying people more money for work that they do. May I suggest a compromise of between $25 and $35 be put in the language if we're going to make any kind of change instead of an up to amount?
Up to.
Up to gives you that.
Up to will give you that
All right, well,
flexibility.
I want it known that the
Or
minimum
no
is
more
25.
than, no, we can do
less
no
than
more,
25.
no more than.
He's going to golf.
So just to clarify then, is Mr. Copey going to withdraw his amendment and then we just go with Mr. Caius's amendment for the record?
Okay.
Mr. Fries.
So it's Mr.
I would second Mr. Caius's amendment.
Okay, so your amendment, Mr. Caius, could you repeat it again?
My amendment is to alter the amendment of $35 an hour to read up to $35 an hour.
So I believe we need to have a vote on that, correct?
So the issue though first is Mr. Copey has an amendment.
Yes.
That has been, that he made, that also been seconded. We need to take a vote on that if all discussion is done. Or he can rescind it. And we,
Doesn't the motion
which
to
he's
amend the
declining to do.
amendment take precedence over the
That
amendment?
takes, I would agree, the motion to amend the amendment does take precedence, so we can then vote on the amendment
As amended.
as amended.
To avoid complication, I rescind my motion.
Why, Tom? Come on.
Or
Resend my second.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
You see what you got. in
Okay,
there.
now, I'm sorry, now we do need a roll
Vote to
call
withdraw.
because that amendment has been rescinded. Clerk,
Well,
please call the roll.
a point of order, then if I'm amending an amendment that's been recalled, it doesn't exist, in my logic anyway.
Another amendment.
It would have to be a motion,
The
but,
original motion.
Resolution on that amendment. the amendment.
so we could just stick with the $25 an hour. Do we have to move it
All
up to
right, so
35?
to my understanding,
Or you can
because
make
there's
an-
lots of
I think we
coaching
should
going
appoint
on
a
right
special
now,
committee
which is
so
all
we can-
welcome. It's all
We
good to
need an
keep this straight.
airplane. There's something wrong with the air.
Right now, we do have, and I'll have the clerk, the very first amendment was to move it to $35 an hour.
It was by Copey, second by Berman.
Correct. And that has now been rescinded, even though there was an amendment to that amendment. So since the original amendment no longer exists, we have to vote the amendment down. We can have further discussion on the resolution after we decide what to do with the amendment to
Don't have to
accept.
vote the amendment to the amendment down because it disappears.
Disappears.
It's an
It's
amendment.
gone. It's gone. Could we, I think we need to call the roll. Okay. Does everyone,
What are we voting on? The amendment to the
Right.
resolution.
Light at the end of a
Amendment to the
tunnel is another
resolution.
train.
This is, I'm sorry, this is,
The amendment to the resolution.
which has been withdrawn.
Your amendment.
My amendment was to amendment to the amendment.
So you don't want that.
It
It dies with the dying of
It
the
dies.
original
With the
amendment.
resolution.
All right,
So we go
Just like
vote on
the
the
state
original.
going back to the original is what you're saying.
Yes.
The vote.
Is a vote not on any amendment, but on the motion as made.
Yes, and the original 21-318, the original motion was made by Berman, second by Sanchez, and that is with the $25 rate that you're talking. So that's the vote we're going to take
And we vote.
right now.
Call the vote.
Okay,
Vote, let's call. the
ready?
vote.
Here we go. Allen.
Allen, aye.
Okay, Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown, Davis,
Gavist, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Raz, Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Ball, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Definitive, yes.
Copey,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin. Oh, he's not here. I'm sorry. Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Up to yes.
Shepro,
No, yes.
Silva.
Silva, yes.
Thank you. Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Hey, the lynch mob left, you're okay.
They're
Copey,
waiting outside.
Yeah.
did you say yes?
I'm sorry.
Tepe for,
Yes.
oh, thank you. Wallace and Warnicki.
Yes.
It passes. All right,
Wow.
3.
Thank you.
Next item, may I have a motion and second to discuss and potentially approve item number 21-347?
So move, Fraz.
Mr. Foss, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Fraz speaking. I just wanted to highlight this item. If you read it, it appears to be just a routine professional services agreement to amend some documents, but this has to do with the Bliss Main Fabian project, one of our larger long-term planned projects that's about to begin in the next year. And this amendment approves some extra costs to redo some documents. And the reason we're doing that is because this is about a $15 million project, and Congressman Underwood is providing us with approximately half that cost in a grant. So we're spending $49,000 and getting $7 million. So it's a pretty good deal. But I just wanted to thank her and the state and federal government for funding half our project. It's delaying the project just about 6 months, but I think it was well worth it.
And I believe the status of that money is still in.
Yeah,
to
it's
the
we're
Senate.
crossing our fingers, but it's been allotted.
So I would encourage all of you to make sure that you contact, and we can draft a letter on your behalf if you would like, to contact our two senators asking for their full support and gratitude for their help in getting this project funded. So that, and I believe that there's going to be other supports coming as well. And just a quick question, is the barn being torn down, and when is that going to be happening?
Yeah, many of you might know, there's a barn that's really close to Main Street Road right at Fabian, and it's slated for demolition. Normally, as part of our demolition contracts, it's up to the demolition contractor to deal with the materials as they see fit. With the old barns, it's often the case that it has pretty good value in reusing the wood and so forth. So that's what we would hope. So Tom can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that is our typical process. We are exploring different alternatives to see if there might be something we can do with the wood. So there has been no date determined yet for when the barn would be taken down because we're still evaluating opportunities.
Okay, very good. And just as a reminder, Congresswoman Underwood would like to have a piece of that wood.
And we have that noted.
Okay, thank you. If anybody else would like to have a piece of history, just let Mr. Frost know. And I'm sure that he will share the wood for your use, make a bench or a plaque or whatever you'd like to do with it, a frame. Is there no other discussion? Then clerk, please call the roll.
Realize you've been awake the whole time? Momentous.
2130, I'm sorry, 21347. Allen?
Allen, aye.
Bates?
Bates, aye.
Berman?
Berman, yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Davis?
Davis, yes.
Ford?
Yes.
Fraz?
Yes.
Gums?
Gums, yes.
Iqbal?
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon?
Yes.
Caius?
Caius, yes.
Opie?
Yes.
Leonard?
Leonard, yes.
Lewis?
Lewis, yes.
Molina?
Molina, yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Shepro?
Shepro, yes.
Silva? Silva?
Silva, yes.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Strathman?
Strathman, yes.
Surgis? Tepe?
Debbie, yes.
Wallace? Wallace? Okay. And Winnicke?
Yes.
It passes.
It passes, very good. I do believe that we are going to be going into executive session. Is that correct? So
Yes, for pending litigation.
We have one?
may I have a motion and a second to go into executive?
Leonard so moves.
Thank you.
Berman, second.
Thank you. Thank you. For claims of litigation, appointments, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific
This is for
employee.
pending litigation.
Yeah, county litigation. And clerk, please call the roll.
Allen?
Allen, aye.
Bates?
Bates, aye.
Berman?
Berman, yes.
Brown? Davis?
Davis, yes.
Ford? Fraz?
Yes.
Gums?
Gums, yes.
Iqbal?
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon?
Yes.
Caius?
Caius, yes.
Opie? Leonard?
Leonard, yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Molina?
Molina, yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Shepro?
Shepro, yes.
Silva?
Silva, yes.
Strathman?
Strathman, yes.
Surgis?
Yes.
Tepe?
Debbie, yes.
Wallace?
Wallace, yes.
Winnicke?
Yes.
That passes.
We are now going into executive session.
Okay, everybody, we'll take a moment here to get everything transferred over. For those that are online, watch for the invite and please accept that to go into closed session. Be aware we are still live streaming, so until I give you the okay, anything you say may go out to the public. So just be patient with us for a minute.
I'm on the phone call in case you're wondering the number.
I like what he said. You didn't answer my question. And I was thinking you didn't say. You didn't tell us that.
You know what? Everybody mad except me because I didn't get.
Everyone, even if you're in the room, please accept your invite into the closed session so I can make sure we're not missing anyone.
The mob
Rhea,
yelling at me.
oh, you know what? I didn't show you this. Let me, if you've got a minute.
Oh, it's Maureen.
I discovered that she wasn't coming home
Yeah.
yesterday.
Is there anyone that is hearing my voice that feels they should be in the closed session? Please speak up.
Yes, as they say, reprieve, curfew shall not ring tonight.
Yes, wow.
I'm with a hatchet.
Anyone hearing my voice feels they should be in the closed session?
Yeah, I think this.
go to get, he came in at like 10 and then I don't know when he left, but his boss man still isn't here, is he? No. That's all right. I mean, I can keep my. He had a red eye, so I don't blame him. Yeah, but you know, it is his business, so like, which is okay with me because I think I got something good to show him, an approach to show him, because as I was going through testing, you know, just fumbling my way around, I've really come up with 15 issues at least. Oh, wow. Right, and so going through this document and trying to figure out if stuff has been resolved or not is just wasn't working for me. So I put each of the issues on a spreadsheet with about 10 columns, maybe 8 columns, saying, you know, what is the issue, who owns the issue, the date that it's resolved, the date that it's entered, and call for notes, you know, things like that, so we can keep track of each issue. Because the problem I was having was, Johanna says, oh,
Okay, you are in open session again.
We are now in open session. Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, Alan, are you present?
Alan present.
All righty. Bates,
Bates present.
Berman,
Berman here.
Brown, Davis,
Davis here.
Ford,
Present.
Fraz,
Here.
Gums,
Gums here.
Iqbal,
Iqbal present.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius present.
Gopi,
Opie's here.
Leonard, Lewis.
Lewis here.
Okay, Martin's not here. Molina,
Molina present.
Sanchez,
Here.
Shepro,
Shepro here.
Silva,
Silva's here.
Strathman,
Here.
Surgis. Gone. Tepe,
Deppie here.
Wallace, and Winnicki.
Present.
You have a quorum.
We are now back in open session. May I have a motion and a second to approve settlement of claim number 19WC031572
Bates moved.
In the amount of,
in the
Recommended
amount of
amount.
$75,217.87.
Raz seconds.
Thank you.
Seconds. Clerk, please, is there any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Alan,
Alan, I.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown, Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford. Yes. Fraz,
Yes.
Gums,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Monthly.
Iqbal, Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius.
Iqbal, yes.
Oh, thank you. Okay, Kenyon, again. Kenyon,
Yes.
okay. Caius,
Caius, yes.
Hopi,
Opie, yes.
Leonard's not here. Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin, not. Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surgis, not here, I'm sorry. Tepe,
Deppie, yes.
Wallace,
Wallace, yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
That passes.
You're up, Mike.
Passes, very good. Our meeting is about to be adjourned till next Tuesday, August 10th, 2021. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
What you've all been waiting for. I move we adjourn.
Wait a minute, name, please,
I move we adjourn.
but your name, please.
My
sir.
name?
Yes,
My
sir.
name is Kenyon, Mike Kenyon.
J. Farmer Ken.
And do we have a second?
Davis seconds.
He's excited because it's cow day.
You.
Favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No, only third meeting.
Motion passes. Have a great day.